Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new edition of the Tuesday Swoop here on the Solano College Sports Network. Although we are doing this on Thursday, in this episode, we're going to go over some NBA talk about the playoffs, matches, series that have already ended, and series that are still ongoing. I'm your host, Cameron Anderson, here with Zay Randle, Blake Molina, and Leon Fong. So, first up, Philadelphia and Brooklyn. The Nets got swept They got swept back-to-back years now, going back to last year against Boston. Philly, they win in 4 games, but really I think the biggest question moving forward right now is Joel Embiid's health. He sprained his knee in Game 3 and missed Game 4. Are there any concerns for Embiid's health in Round 2? I'll start with you, Zay, as a Philly fan. Are there any concerns for you?
Well, thankfully, they finished it off quickly, and he has all this time to rest, but I don't know. I'm not in that locker room. I can't even answer that for you, but honestly, I think he'll be fine and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, Embiid's injury woes are scary because of the past, but, it's playoff time. Guys get tougher. I understand he sat out Game 4. They won it without him anyways. Harden did what Harden does. But like Zay said, he's going to get long rest. I think he'll be okay, and I think Harden all year has been doing good, and he's holding it down even without Embiid. So Philly's pretty dangerous right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Nets weren't anything crazy because they pretty much offloaded Durant, Kyrie, their roster, but I mean, they still looked impressive sweeping the Nets.
If Embiid is healthy, Leon, are they the favorites to make a finals run in the East?
If Embiid is healthy, to make a run in the East, no, I think Celtics.
You like
Celtics
Boston?
are going to be a tough opponent for them. Harden and Embiid is not enough to beat like their main squad.
I think right now Boston is the favorites now that Milwaukee got knocked off. We'll save that for a second.
Yeah. So you're saying Boston's your favorite? Or
not
you're
my
saying
favorites, but the
majorities?
people's favorites. I think that the majority of people probably have Boston coming out the East. And they went there last. They made it to the title last year, so,
Yeah, what's stopping them from not repeating, right?
Right, yeah, that's a good point. Until they get knocked off. Next series, going out west, the number 1 seed Denver Nuggets versus the number 8 seed Minnesota Timberwolves. Back on our last episode, we all had the Nuggets coming out, and they did in 5 games. Gentlemen sweep. Jokic and Murray went crazy. Jamal Murray averaging 27 points per game, 43% from 3 and 48% from the field. Jokic, a casual 26, 12, and 9, shot 50% from 3.
Casual?
A casual. He makes it look casual.
He does.
And 6 players on the Nuggets in that series averaged 10-plus points per game. So, super deep team. Got to shout out Anthony Edwards, averaged 31 points per game, shooting 48% from the field. So, my question is, how far can the Nuggets go?
I think, and I know I've called them fraudulent, but what I saw in the series, and I know it was against an 8th seed Minnesota team, and shout out again to Anthony Edwards. He played phenomenal. Really hope to see him in the playoffs again. I don't know what the direction will be with that team. Cat's future, I think, is a real big question mark going forward. That's another topic for another day. The Nuggets team, though, I liked what Jamal Murray did. He looked like Bubble Murray. MPJ, when he's healthy, shoots the ball well, shows flashes. I think Aaron Gordon is an X factor overall. I think he was a great addition. I think they got him 2 seasons ago now, and he's just been great. He fills that role perfectly. And then, as much, because he was on the Lakers, as much trash as we talk, KCP's defense is really showing up, and especially in the playoffs. I mean, Edwards averaged 31 points, but, I mean, he was playing pretty aggressive, tough defense on Edwards.
I think they're getting knocked out of the second round. Because look at the teams they have in the West. They got the Warriors. They got the Suns.
Right. Well, so it's already matched up. They're going to be playing the Suns in the second round, so it'll be Nuggets for Suns.
So, yeah, I think they're getting knocked out by the Suns.
Well, I think the Nuggets came in. They handled business. They did what they were supposed to do. Do I think they're legit contenders? Yeah. They're a complete team right now. Offensively, defensively. And they got Aaron Gordon as an unsung hero of that team right now. He's been balling out of his mind. So, I mean, they're legit contenders. Do I think they have enough to beat the Suns? I don't think the Suns have enough defense to beat the Nuggets. So, I mean, I don't know. We're gonna see that.
Well, speaking of the Suns, sorry to cut you off, Blake.
No.
You'll get your chance right here. The Suns win in 5. They rallied off 4 straight wins after Kawhi went down. Do you think the Suns would have advanced to the second round even if Kawhi Leonard was healthy?
How about Paul George?
Well, he wasn't healthy at all this series. But, yeah, you bring up a good point. Mostly in Game 1 because Kawhi was healthy. They won Game 1. Kawhi went crazy. A lot of people were saying that the Suns might not make it out of the first round based off how Kawhi played. Do you think the Clippers would have made it out of the first round if Kawhi was healthy?
I mean, it's one guy. So, I don't really think so against, CP, Devin Booker, KD.
I'm on
But
the fence.
he is like a force though. So it would definitely make the series a lot more interesting.
I was just gonna say I hate going against Kawhi Leonard. He is one of my favorite players to watch, and I've always liked him. Even when he was on San Antonio, that Toronto year is one of my favorite years of basketball when he won the finals. But I don't understand what it is with the Clippers. It don't work. Like something's not working because I thought they had a great team, especially after the deadline. They made small moves, Plumlee, Bones Highland. I think Russ fit in real good to that role.
Yeah.
I mean, the team isn't bad. Like, the roster makeup, they're deep. They have a lot of wings. Their bigs are, maybe bringing another big in the offseason if you don't get Plumlee back. But they're just a question mark. And I think if you're Clipper management, I think you really got to start thinking about maybe not this season, but maybe the next. Like, do we pull the plug and kind of regain our asset? They gave up 7 first-round picks, plus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Paul George.
Yeah.
They lost that trade. I'm sorry. They did.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at. But I think the Suns are an absolute force, and I think they'll have no problem. I have them beating Denver and going to the Western Conference Finals.
Well, Leon said that Kawhi is one man, but this one man brought an entire championship to that Toronto squad. And he carried that team on his back. And I think last show, I'm pretty sure all of us had the Clippers coming out of the series on top.
I was shaky, but I did, at the end of it.
Yeah.
Right?
We, well, actually, so Garrison and Blake said it would go 7 games. You guys didn't give a definite answer, but you guys both said that the winner of this series will beat the Nuggets. In fact, all 3 of you said the winner of this series will beat the Nuggets. Sounds like you think the Suns are going to beat the Nuggets. I'm still going to ride the Nuggets. I've been on them basically all year. I know a lot of people have been calling them fraudulent, not a true number 1 seed, but I like the Nuggets. I think they're deep. It's going to be a great matchup. I think
so.
That's going to be a spectacular matchup. We'll see how that one all pans out. So, moving on to another series.
Hold on, Ken. Let me answer your question. I didn't give a real answer. I just said a fact. I think with Kawhi, they do win that series.
Clippers going to beat the Suns with
And
Kawhi.
that's because they got Russ, which is just a workhorse. Right? He's doing it. He's balling out of his mind right now. He had a great series against Phoenix. And Norman Powell.
Yeah.
Norman Powell was going crazy
I think
every single game.
The only way the Clippers win is if they play like defense.
They had way
hard
better defense than the Suns, and that's the only. I'm glad you said that because that's the only reason I had them beating the Suns. And now that's the same reason why I don't know if the Suns have enough to beat the Nuggets because the Nuggets play pretty sound defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this series is going to come down to between the Suns.
That's right. In our last episode, you did say that the Suns-Clippers series was going to come down to defense. And Kawhi in Game 1 wasn't playing a whole lot of defense, but that's because they needed him to carry the offensive load.
He sure did.
And although Westbrook, like you said, he had a great series, he didn't shoot well. Offensively, he wasn't amazing, although he did have a 30-point game.
And he had about 5 blocks that game.
Exactly. He was doing it in the other ends of the court.
Russ is shooting better threes now, too, right?
Since going to the Clippers,
100%. Since going to the Clippers, for sure.
That's always, I knew it has always been a mental thing with him.
Yeah.
He said it. I'm glad he came out and said this. He said since the day he got traded, he's been in a better mental space. And I'm happy for us, man. I'm really in because that's one of my favorite players to watch. I don't like the narrative that goes around his name, man. And I'm just happy for him right now.
Yeah, he definitely took the blunt end of the Lakers' whole debacle, and they kind of took all the blame right there. All right, moving on to the East, a series that concluded yesterday. Pretty surprising, in my opinion, that this series closed out the way it did.
Yeah.
Knicks versus Cavs. The Cavs lose in 5 games, 4-1. First off, how shocked were you guys that this series only went 5 games in the favor of the Knicks?
I was very shocked. I didn't even think the Knicks were going to pull it out. And I do give a lot of hate towards New York Knicks basketball. I do, but I just thought Cleveland to me was that team where they could be like the Heat in the bubble, they can surprise people and go to the finals. That's what I thought Cleveland was.
Yeah.
When the Knicks swept them like that, I didn't know what to think. I will say this. Any slander I have said about Jalen Brunson, I take it all back. And I did say his contract was an overpay. I take that back. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm very surprised with the Knicks series.
It's
but
funny
well
you say
deserved.
that, Blake,
I mean,
because like I was pretty much on the exact opposite side. Where I seen the Knicks, they reminded me as the Heat team because
Really? I thought you liked Cleveland. I thought we talked a few times about
Cleveland coming out. But,
Okay.
but I said this on the last show too. The Knicks remind me of that Heat team because of the way they play. They're tough and they got winner pedigree in them, right?
I agree with that.
And then shout out Josh Hart.
Yeah.
Shout out Josh Hart because he clamped
does
down
everything
Donovan
they
Mitchell
need.
and
Yeah.
that. He was the X factor. I mean, Jalen Brunson did his thing. Randle didn't really show up. RJ Barrett showed up. But Josh Hart came, and that was the deciding factor because Donovan Mitchell was silent. We haven't heard a word from him since game one.
And
Yeah.
real quick, off the Josh Hart thing, I know there was a lot of movement at the deadline, big moves. That to me was one of the better moves value-wise and just how much it's helped New York. That was an awesome move. I wanted the Kings to go. I thought a lot of teams could have used Josh Hart. I just think he fits on every team.
Yeah.
But he has been phenomenal with the Knicks. Like, I'm kind of surprised, like, the way he's playing. And truthfully, I really hope he has a home there because he's been bouncing around.
Yeah.
I think New York needs to lock him up, and he needs to himself needs to say, I need to stay in New York because I think
Let's talk
it's a
about
perfect
that.
fit.
Like Josh Hart, those type of players. Josh Hart, like I'm thinking about Gary Payton. You think those type of players would fit on any team?
I think it depends.
It just
role
depends,
players, you
yeah.
need contending teams. Yeah, I would agree that Josh Hart and GP are similar in that fashion. And I mean that trade was that was the Cam Reddish trade.
Yeah.
It's Cam Reddish for Josh Hart. So both players really benefited from that. Cam Reddish got out of the doghouse in Thibodeau's system. I mean, I feel bad. I was a huge Cam Reddish fan
was
going
too.
to the draft,
Yeah.
and he's hasn't really gotten the opportunity to perform. But we'll see if he does in Portland. But to your point, yeah, I think you open the floor. Maybe Zay or Blake, you can speak on that.
I mean, I would say pretty much every NBA team needs a guy like him. Every basketball team in the world needs a guy like him because he's not selfish. He's going to get the job done on offense. He's going to make the right plays, but at the end of the day, he doesn't care about scoring. He cares about winning, and he's going to play his butt off on both ends of the court.
Yeah, him and GP are pretty similar. The only thing I'll say differently about Josh
I would
Hart,
say DiVincenzo would maybe be a better comparison to Josh Hart.
yes.
And every team sort of has that, like
Yeah.
a Bruce Brown for the Nuggets,
Right.
Yeah.
a Jared Vanderbilt for the Lakers maybe. You could say
Yeah.
Austin Reeves, but his offensive game is sort of taken
No,
over. So
Jared-
that's-
Vanderbilt.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
Vanderbilt.
Jared Vanderbilt
that
for
glue
me.
guy, a good role player that comes off the bench, or maybe is the fifth starter, the fifth best player on the floor. But yeah, does everything outside of really being the offensive threat.
My thing I was just going to say about Hart is compared to GP2, and I think GP2 is that guy too. I think he can fit just about anywhere. The difference is, though, like, if you go back, even if you're watching the game or looking at the box scores, if you go and look at Josh Hart's category, I mean, there's games where this guy gets quiet, 19 point,
Right.
10 rebound, 8 assist, 4
Yeah.
steal games. Like he's doing that. And there was stretches even in Portland before he got traded. He was kind of doing that regularly, like when they were getting, when Dame was hurt and they didn't shut him down just yet.
Yeah.
They were getting ready to.
Yep.
I mean, he's
Say
been.
Wiggins?
Instead of Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins.
Wiggins
Yeah.
Wiggins is more
different,
than that, though.
He's more like a scorer.
No, he's been a
I
silent
think we only
assassin
say
in that series.
because he was drafted as a lottery pick and he came out number one. He came out number one, right?
Yeah,
I
he
think-
was the number one
I think
pick.
we only say that because of that. But other than that, he's just silently putting up 18 a night
Yeah.
and then playing his butt off on both tails.
I'll say on the record, I've always been a Wiggins believer.
I love
even
Wiggins.
when the Minnesota was rough. The Warriors trade, I was kind of like, okay, we'll see what happens. I think he fits perfectly. That's a perfect.
Yeah,
that's a perfect
That's
fit.
not a Wiggins.
That's a perfect
I mean,
fit.
that was one of the best trades. It's going to go down as one of the better trades in
Oh.
the recent
Yeah.
I
years
think the
because
thing that separates like the Wiggins from a Josh Hart is like their hustle factor. Like
I
Josh
think
Hart,
it's
Gary Payton,
Wiggins' ability to score.
the ability to score.
I think Wiggins is the third best player on a championship team makes it a difference.
that too.
That too.
That too, yeah.
And we saw that in the playoffs. I mean, Wiggins is your best defender and also is going to get 20 points. He had double-digit rebound games last year in the finals and in that playoff run. He's locking up Luka, making Jason Tatum, who was, they were saying Jason Tatum took over, like he passed Kevin Durant when he swept the Nets last year. Tatum went on that run in the playoffs.
Right.
Once he got to the finals and Wiggins was on him, I don't
wall.
know. He
Shut
got
that
pretty
down.
quiet.
He says he's better than Kevin Durant.
Yeah. So moving on to the craziest game last night, Miami, Milwaukee. The Bucks go down, the 6th team in NBA history to lose in the first round as a number 1 seed. Only 8 seeds in the first round have dethroned a number 1 seed in NBA history.
What was the most recent one before this one? Was it the Warriors
2012
one?
Chicago Bulls. Derrick Rose MVP year. Tore his ACL in Game 1.
Yeah.
The 76ers with Andre Iguodala came back and won that series. They won 4. They won in 6 games.
Oh my God.
The one before that, I believe, was the Baron Davis
The Golden
Warriors
State.
against the Dallas Mavericks.
I didn't even know about the Bulls one. That's I remember that
Yeah.
series and him tearing the ACL. And you said the Bulls won that series?
No.
Oh, Philly won.
These are 8 seeds beating the 1 seed.
Right.
Oh, because Rose won. Okay, I understand.
Rose MVP,
went down.
they're the number 1
Yep.
seed in the East. and then-
Iguodala, yeah, you're right.
Iguodala came back and won.
Okay. They had Elton Brand too. Okay, I remember that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's only been 5 other. I think the Nuggets in, I want to say 83 or 90, 94 Nuggets. They beat the Sonics. who are the
93,
number 1
94
seed.
Nuggets,
93,
yeah.
94
Mhm,
Nuggets
yeah.
with Dikembe. And, I mean, there haven't been many teams to do it, really. And so, I mean, where does this upset rank? The Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler. Where does this rank in upsets?
It's up there because I'm pretty sure a lot of us had the Bucks coming out as the East. I
Oh,
never
yeah.
did personally, but I know a lot of folks
Especially
had the
with
Bucks.
Giannis on
Yeah,
the team.
right.
Yeah.
So former MVP already got 2 of them. So a lot of people had the Bucks. But I described the Miami Heat in 4 words: hustle, heart, Jimmy, Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. He's
Yeah.
gonna put the team on his back, and he said it best himself. His team during the regular season didn't need him to do that, and now this is what he needs from his. This is what the team
I
needs from
think
him.
on top of that too, like the Heat, they have very specific like shot charts.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, for
Jimmy
certain
Butler,
players they do. Yeah.
he knows exactly what shots he should be taking. He's not gonna chuck up like random threes.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna chuck up step back. There's gonna be a lot of the paint, and then maybe like you seen it in like I think Game 4 was it? He started shooting like threes because
Right, when he had 56.
Yeah, and then you got Bam Adebayo, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's mainly in the paint, free throw
Right.
jumper. Then you have your marksman. You have like your Mark Strus or Gabe Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're gonna be shooting the threes, not really anyone else. So I think that's why the Heat are really efficient, is because they know what shots they should be taking.
Quality play too from Kevin Love. I know he fouled
Yeah.
out last night, but
Kevin Love.
he had like 15 and
5.
7 last night. I don't know if he starts or comes off the bench. I don't know how the rotations work.
Comes off the bench.
Comes
yeah.
off. I mean,
5
yeah.
for 5 from 3.
Man,
Yeah.
a guy that the Cavs really missed because
I think they could have used him.
he
yeah.
was like their 6th man a couple years or last year. Really,
Right.
he was one of the better players coming off the bench. Quickly, Jimmy Butler shot 60% from the field on 23.5 attempts per game.
Averaging how much?
He averaged 38 points per game
Averaging 38
and
points
49
per
points
game.
in the last 2 games. He had 56 and 42 in games 4 and
The
5.
playoffs.
My question: he also shot 44% from 3, which is insane for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
who's
for
normally
Jimmy.
a 35,
Yeah.
like 33%
low
three-point
30s.
shooter.
Yeah.
Does anyone else currently in the NBA elevate their game more in the playoffs than Jimmy Butler? You know, quickly, I mean, the first guy that comes to mind is Kawhi Leonard.
I was just gonna say, are we talking people that are still in the playoffs or out? 'Cause I was gonna say Kawhi Leonard
I mean,
too.
if you think about recent history and current players, it's got to be Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler. The only difference is that Kawhi Leonard hasn't been healthy in 4 years.
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, right? And during the regular season, when he does play, he has his outings where he'll go for 40.
You talking about Jimmy Butler or Kawhi?
No, I'm talking about Kawhi.
Yeah.
During the regular
yeah.
season, when he's healthy,
Mhm.
he'll have his outings where he'll go for 40, 10, whatever. He'll have his games. But you're right. A lot of times he's just chilling. He's not doing too much until his team needs him to turn up. But I feel like the simple answer to this question is no. Jimmy Butler is on a whole different level.
Yeah.
Jimmy
How
Butler's
about
on a
Devin
whole,
Booker?
No.
No.
Jimmy Butler
Not
is
yet.
on a whole
Not yet.
Devin
He had
Booker
two
still
40-point
averages
games.
almost 30 points in the regular season.
Yeah.
Didn't he just have 2 40-point games?
Right, but he does that in the regular season too.
We're talking about like you're
That's
not
Someone
on
who
the
elevates
wrong,
their game.
Yeah, you're not on
I
the
think
wrong
of a
track.
guy who is almost like could win a most improved award from the regular season to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Butler averages usually like 5 to 6 points per game from a difference in regular season to postseason. And I mean, other than Kawhi is probably the only guy that really does that. But the difference is Jimmy Butler
So
plays every
for
game in
the-
the regular season. Kawhi played half the games this year.
Yeah.
All right.
He's missed so much time in the last 4 years. I mean, there's talks about Kawhi. Stephen A. is talking about Kawhi retiring.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that, but
I don't know.
It's not far fetched.
I don't think
the
it
thing
is.
about this injury with Kawhi, a couple years ago when he tore his ACL, I seen it automatically, and they were holding out on the news. They didn't bring it out to the media until the series was over and done with. Then they finally came out like 2 weeks later. Oh, Kawhi tore his ACL, but I seen it when it happened. I was like, oh, he's done. And they was saying questionable next game, doubtful next game, yada yada. This time I knew it was the exact same thing, and I don't know if it's a thing with the NBA, the Clippers, or if it's just Kawhi, but he knew it immediately. And right after that game, they got it. They knew he was done for, and I don't really like how they just do the doubtful stuff when they know he's done.
Yeah.
And I think it might be over for Kawhi. It might really be this time.
Yeah, you really never know. Real quick, and then we can go switch gears. To answer your question, Cam, you asked earlier where this game ranked. I don't really know what goes number one. I'd really have to go through it. I thought it was a crazy ending, a crazy game. I just have to say, though, I do think the Warriors game was just a little better, just because of the dynamic. I mean, Dallas was a very heavy favorite to win it all in that year.
Yeah.
And it's not against Milwaukee. Milwaukee could win it too, but I mean, Dallas, they were a stacked roster. I think that they were a 66-win team, 65-win team.
Only team to lose in the first round with 65-plus wins.
So I think the Warriors one is above it. I don't know what the exact ranking is, but I think that game alone should, at least for me, is a top 3 game for sure.
I would agree. I think the Warriors hold that number one because they were just super slept on. Miami's been to the playoffs before. Jimmy Butler's proven in the playoffs. So, and even in our last show, the Miami was up 1-0, and we said we had Milwaukee winning, but also all of us really said that it wouldn't be a huge surprise if Miami won because they won 2 games on the road and then came back home. Like you're in a really good spot.
It wasn't a surprise to me that they won the series again. I mean, they had the potential. It's that they did it 3-1 and the way they did it. Jimmy Butler's dropping 56 one game, 40 points this game, that crazy one-handed alley-oop throw in.
And honestly, on the other side, Giannis kind of throwing the ball away. He threw the ball away on that last possession, and they didn't call a timeout with 0.9 seconds. Like, there were definitely times where, similar to the next team we're going to get into, where these with Boston kind of not managing the game correctly at the end of the games.
I don't think Giannis was fully healthy, like even after the coming injury. And I'm not saying using that as an excuse at all because I mean they lost 3-1, but I think maybe Giannis should have sat that other game and just kind of see what happens. I know it's the playoffs, you gotta play those games, but I just don't think he was fully healthy.
Like I said last time, if he was able to play, I feel like he should have played. Yeah. And maybe him not playing that game, maybe that could have shifted the series a big way.
Yeah.
He has to play. He's Giannis. All right, let's change gears here. We're going to.
I want to touch on one thing.
Okay.
I want to ask you guys, like, 2-time MVP Giannis, that last possession, he gets the tip. He doesn't want to get fouled.
Yeah.
So he panics.
He was 10 for 21
He
from the line.
He literally threw the ball and did like this, so he panicked.
Looked like Cam Newton in the Super Bowl, not diving on the ball.
All right, but like I feel like this is something that we should comment about. Like, this is a 2-time MVP. This is the star of your city. He's the face of the NBA right now, especially overseas. Well, maybe Nikola.
No, he is.
I mean, really globally, I think Giannis is. He's the face of the league.
And then when the light is on him, those are the way. And thank God for Chris Middleton, because that ball is going out of bounds, and they would have never got that free throw. It could have been game over on that tip.
Low key pulled a Ben Simmons.
I feel like we should. You guys have anything to say about that?
I'll let you guys speak on it first.
I don't have too much. I mean, I just kind of said what I said. He looked like a Ben Simmons out there, but I mean, I don't. It's the playoffs. Things happen. People are nervous. It's not an excuse for him. He's won a championship. He's been there plenty of times. But sometimes, you do get a little nervous. And like I said, I'll go back to it. I just don't think he was, he obviously wasn't 100%. So I think that played a factor into it too. But it is what it is. They're out. They gotta go back to the drawing board. They have a lot of things to do in the offseason because Middleton might leave.
Leon?
I didn't watch that game. But I think what you said before, him missing out one game was pivotal.
He missed 2 games. I think he missed 2 games, but they, right? He missed game 2 and 3.
Game, right?
Might have just missed game 2.
Oh, did he just
No,
miss
yeah,
game
he
two?
just missed game 2.
I thought game 4 was he came back and he had a triple-double. They still lost. Game 5 was last game.
You're right, because game 3
He missed
got ruled
game
out
2
the
and
last
game
second.
3.
He
He missed game
you're
2 and
right,
game 3. I think if to speak on it, I think it's a game of runs. We talk about the playoffs.
Yeah.
Miami had all the momentum. I mean, you look at the end of game 4, the fact that they're turning the ball over, Jimmy Butler's diving on the floor, catching it, going to the rack, stepping back from 3. Like, Miami brought it to them, and Milwaukee just didn't have an answer to it. And sometimes the swing of momentum, like it's tough to stop a team with the momentum that they had in Miami.
But yeah, I wasn't good. I don't think they were expecting Miami to come back like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like with their personnel and the Bucks being the team that they are, it's
I just
like 1 versus 8 seed, like you said. It's like they're not expecting it.
I'll say one thing. I'll let you move us on, Cam. I just think that for Giannis as the MVP of the league, as the face of the franchise, he had the opportunity to potentially ice the game, go up 2-3 points, and he didn't want the opportunity. I just don't like that from Giannis. As a fan, as a competitor, as an athlete, I just didn't like that from Giannis.
I think every superstar has their rough moments in the playoffs, and this is definitely going to be the big one for Giannis.
Yeah.
You know, LeBron, he had a meltdown against the Mavs with the Heat. That's obviously going to be sort of his biggest mess up or bad moment, his down point.
Down. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Boston and Atlanta. Trae Young ices Game 5, step back 3 to push it to Game 6, which is tonight. Do the Celtics close it out on the road tonight, or are we going to see a Game 7 on Saturday?
Oh, I'll happily start. I think it goes to Game 7, but I have Boston winning. I think Atlanta has a lot of momentum, and I think that Trae Young shot was a lot bigger than people think. So I think Atlanta wins tonight, but Boston will advance.
Leo?
I'm thinking of closing it.
Close it out tonight?
I can't really say too much about it just because I haven't watched the series, but based on their personnel, and Atlanta, they just have Trae Young. And I guess, was it?
DeJounte Murray?
Murray? Yeah. Aside from that, the Hawks have been going to playoffs. That's about it. They're not really contenders for either, I don't know, Eastern Conference or championship.
Right.
So I have the Celtics.
Atlanta is doing what I hope they would do, and that's just make this series entertaining. I think Celtics are the most complete team out of the two, and I feel like they're going to handle business tonight.
Yeah, we all have the Celtics going in. I think the Celtics do handle business tonight. Now, one quick question. Does this, Boston, we said Boston's the favorite to come out of the East. Does this kind of scare you? The fact that this series is going at least 6 games against Atlanta, who, they were pretty disappointing this year.
I'll let someone else start. I gotta think.
Leon, you want to start off? Because you were quick to say Boston's your favorite. You have Boston.
I think it's like the Heat and Bucks thing, where it's like the 8th seed and the 1 seed. I think each team in the playoff can obviously have their moments, and I guess the Hawks got 2 games.
Yeah.
It's kind of like March Madness, where like each team is,
Yeah, except it's a 7-game series, and usually the favorites, you close it out in the first round. If you are
how about the
projected,
Warriors
they're a
versus the
6 seed.
But
They've also,
Warriors. These are the Warriors that we're talking about.
Right, but what happened last year in the playoffs? I mean, they didn't just steamroll everybody either. They didn't steamroll everybody and go to the finals.
Yeah, but
they never have really.
But these are
the only time they really steamrolled was 18
that
with
the league models their play style after.
Who, the Warriors?
The Warriors.
Okay, but
and they don't sweep every team, so that's kind of what I'm saying with the Hawks.
Right, but you think about Boston last year, they swept Nets, and they kind of ran through the East last year, and they're going 6 games against the Hawks, who, like I'm saying, they were disappointing this year. The Hawks did not look good. I'm not saying that they're not playing well, but you watch these games. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. First of all, Jason Tatum hasn't been efficient since the All-Star break. He's sort of taken a step back. This is a guy who was one of the favorites to an MVP at the All-Star break.
Right.
He's not shooting efficiently from the field, not shooting efficiently from 3. and they have some mental breakdowns. Really, Malcolm Brogdon is the guy that's sort of keeping them in it right now. If they didn't have Brogdon this year, I mean, I think it would be a little different.
Addition to their team for sure.
Blake,
Gave up nothing to get Brogdon too.
any concerns?
I'm yes and no because this does look bad, but at the same time it is Boston and it's the playoffs. You know, everybody. There's times where a player or team is gonna overachieve in one game. We're gonna see surprise. There's always a surprise or shock every year. It's not like we don't see crazy upsets like we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like that was the first time we ever saw that.
Right.
But with that being said, and from what I've seen in the first round so far, I'm gonna jump ship. I like the Sixers right now. I think the Sixers can run through the East. I don't think they're gonna sweep Boston or anything. I think that is gonna be a really good 7-game series. I have that going as probably one of the better series this whole entire playoffs, depending on what really happens. But I have to switch gears and give it to the Sixers. I'm not saying Boston can't do it, and it won't be surprising if they get there, but the series against Atlanta is a little troublesome because I agree with you. Very mediocre team, underachieved. The DeJounte Murray trade doesn't look very great right now, and I like DeJounte Murray, but just for what they gave up in the fit and stuff and all the Trae Young rumors that are coming out this whole season, the coach, the switching of the coaches, like, I don't want to say Boston should have this easily, but, I mean, they should have probably already been done. If they don't finish it out tonight especially, very concerning.
Well, as you know, I had Philly coming out, so I never really had Celtics as a favorite coming out. But to answer your question, I don't think it should install too much fear in you if you still do have the Celtics coming out, because you got to remember, this Atlanta team, like you said, it's a team that underachieved. This is a team that we thought could be pretty decent.
Disappointing for me.
I think the Hawks are definitely better than last year, though.
Well, yeah.
Just a little bit, but they should have been. You're not wrong, but they should have been better, I guess, is the thing. You're not wrong. They are better than last year. Like, the roster on paper and kind of how they've been playing, especially since when they got Sadiq Bey for a bag of chips.
Right, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the roster is better than last year's, but they still underachieved and, for me, disappointed. I thought they would be top 5-6 seed in the East. I mean,
Right.
But the moral of the story is it seems like they're starting to figure it out at the tail end. And right now, let's be honest, this is the most important time.
Right.
So they're starting to figure it out at the right time, but I don't think it's just installed too much fear. We got Celtics coming out.
All right, let's go back to the West. A couple of series that are still ongoing. Lakers and Grizzlies. Hold your breath. We're almost there. Lakers and Grizzlies. Grizzlies win Game 5 at home. Still down 3-2 to the Lakers. Do the Lakers close it out tomorrow?
Luke Kennard is hurt. Luke Kennard was on the court, and that itself provided a lot of space in which they did not have the previous games. Desmond Bane went crazy. Desmond Bane went for, I believe, 33 or 32 or something like that. If he can do that, Memphis has a shot. But other than that, I still like LA. LeBron got to the cup and left about 20 points on the floor where he just couldn't finish at the rim. Now, that was not LeBron-esque, right? So that was just, that's not real. Like, it didn't really happen. I mean, of course it really happened, but that's not really LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So LeBron's going to come back, and that's not going to happen again. I feel like he's going to turn it up a notch because he underperformed. And he acknowledged that he underperformed last game, and I think the series is over with.
LeBron 5 for 17 from the field last night, 1 for 9 from 3, and Austin Reeves 4 for 13 from the field. Had 17 points in that game.
He's taking 13 shots. You want to go, Blake, or?
I had something to say about Austin Reeves. We'll leave that alone.
Is this series going 7 games, or is it going to get closed out tomorrow?
No, I think Lakers close it out tomorrow. I just think they've just been playing better, and my big takeaway for Memphis, and they are doing an okay job without it, they're missing that big man, that big presence, a Steven Adams, a Brandon Clark. Tillman's filled in nice. He had that one game.
Don't.
Hold on, I know.
What I sent
you clipped it too. But after that, hey, right back down to what he usually does. So we'll leave it at that. But I just still think even if Memphis does advance somehow, I don't think you get far in the West without a Steven Adams or a Brandon Clark. I think you would even more. I think you need a Steven Adams more than even if you have Brandon Clark. I still think you would need a Steven Adams. So I got the Lakers closing them out tomorrow.
I think for the Grizzlies, honestly, I think they need more shooting, to be honest, because
They
Desmond
could
Bane
use
is
a
kind of
shooter,
having to do
too.
it all with Jaw's hand thing. He's sort of limited to just driving in the paint, kind of looking for fouls.
Dylan Brooks shooting 0-4, who knows what.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks not a good shooter, and I think they've been fine down low. I think the Grizzlies have been fine down low. Jaren Jackson has been a beast out, 2.5 blocks a game. Xavier Tillman averaging basically a block per game. AD's been good, but he hasn't taken over the series,
He hasn't, right?
which is what the Grizzlies, that's all they can really ask for out of Jaren Jackson, is to kind of keep AD where he's at. Although he still had 31 points last night, it doesn't seem like he's been dominating this series. And I mean, I had Grizzlies in 7. We'll see. This is a big game for the Lakers at home. I agree. I think LeBron's going to have a signature moment like he did in Game 4 when he had that layup and sort of just dominated in the fourth quarter and in overtime. So I do think the Lakers will close it out tomorrow, but if they go back to Memphis in Game 7, it's going to get interesting.
Yeah.
All right, last series, the best series in the first round, the Northern California battle, Warriors and Kings. The Warriors win on the road last night against the Sacramento Kings, who were up 2-0. The Warriors rattle off 3 straight, and quickly, I think Game 3 was absolutely massive. The fact that Draymond wasn't available and the Warriors were still able to win at home, and the biggest margin of the series, that game was sort of a blowout at the end, although it was close for the majority of the game. The Warriors looked really good, and yeah, they've rattled off 3 straight. I'm going to go to you, Blake, right here. What do the Kings need to do to win tomorrow and bring it back home in Game 7 to hopefully win it?
They're in a tough battle. Yesterday's game bummed me out, especially at the end when Curry just danced around and threw up the layup. My dad about broke our TV.
Harrison Barnes unveiled his Warriors jersey underneath.
Yeah, no kidding. For me, I said it when the series was, I think, 2-0 or 2-1. Who's ever going to win has to win on the road, and Golden State won on the road. So I kind of have to say it's going to be tough for the Kings, but I think the run might be coming to an end because just Golden State is tough to play in as it is, and they couldn't win one there. They have a chance to, but like Golden State coming into SAC yesterday and winning that game,
huge.
That it was huge, and I personally think it drained, because as a fan, I'm still bummed and I'm drained. It drained that team, and I just think it's time to, season was fun. It was a success. As a Kings fan, you got to be happy with what you have.
It's not over yet, bro.
I know, but it's I'm just giving the hope. It's not the end of we didn't get swept, or the Warriors didn't blow us out by 20 every game. I had a guy say the Warriors were going to blow us out by 15 every game and win in 5 games. That didn't happen, and that can still, and this series could still go on. So
moral victories.
Yeah, either way, no matter what happens, as a Kings fan, you have to be happy. It's considered a success.
Yeah.
Run it back, make some moves, and that's all you can do. But, I just think the game drained them. I think they can win. It's not out of the question, but yesterday's game took the toll, and it's going to be tough. So we just got to wait and see what happens. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just speaking from a sports.
I feel you. I feel you because
I'm not trying to be biased or anything.
We did a preseason show, and when we brought up the Kings, I laughed. I literally laughed.
Everybody did.
So right.
Yeah.
But they surprised me. And they surprised me by All-Star break. I knew that they were a legit squad, and even right now, I feel like they're a better built team than the Warriors. I feel like they're actually the better team in this series. But I think it just comes down to that championship pedigree.
Experience too.
That's what it's coming down to. Draymond dropped about 18 points.
21. First 20-point game since 2019.
Draymond dropped 21 points.
The Draymond masterclass.
8 of 10 from the field.
Is that going to happen again? I highly doubt it.
God,
I feel like the Kings still have a shot, but at the end of the day, like I said last show, this is a team that has the ability to rattle off 4 wins in a row, and that's just my way of seeing.
Well, I hope that this series goes to Game 7 because it's really entertaining to watch. It's pure, just basketball, no timeouts, no nothing, transition, everything. Like, it's fast-paced basketball. I don't think they're gonna win.
The Kings.
The Kings game 6, but yeah, like I said, I hope they do. And Draymond scoring 20 points is definitely like a nice addition for the Warriors, just because he doesn't really look to score.
Well, I feel like the Warriors, for them to win in pretty much every game, Steph had to go for 35 plus, or Draymond had to go for 20.
Right. Well, and last night, Steph didn't even have a great game. He went 2 of 10 from 3, I think. I mean, at the end, he took over with his layups and getting to the rack. But I think the biggest thing for Draymond is those 2 steals at the end of the game. The one where he wasn't even looking, it was like he just had his arm
where he
out
batted his hand. Oh,
and just
my
found
God.
it
Yeah,
perfectly.
that was it.
And then when he stripped, I think he stripped Sabonis or something at the end.
Sabonis.
That was the biggest thing for me. And let's talk about Kevon Looney, man. Another 20-plus rebound game. One of the most underrated players in basketball. Absolute
21.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
He's played some of the most, I think he's third. Him and Miles Bridges have played the most games in the last 3 or 4 years. It's just absolute Iron Man. He's played Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Looney's played every single game from the regular season to the playoffs for the last 2 years. He played all 82 last year, every game in the playoffs, all 82 this year, and every game of the playoffs. And he is the first Warrior to have 2 20-plus rebound games in the same series since Wilt Chamberlain and Nate Thurmond.
Hey, he's the dog on the boards. I mean,
And the fact that he's been, let's be honest, he's been pretty much clamping up Domantas Sabonis. I mean, Sabonis, he's gotten his, but you just watch the games. He's not. This is the best power forward in basketball.
Sabonis isn't dominating.
No.
I see that on whether it's Draymond. He hasn't been dominant in the series. He had a double-double last night. He had 21, 10, 5 assists, but I mean, he really hasn't dominated or anything like that.
Well, what does he have to do to be dominated this year?
He has to dominate the paint as a big man, and right now
He's the biggest guy on the court.
He shot 64% from 2s in the regular season.
Yeah.
So far, he's shooting 52%.
I thought his mid-range jumper was a lot better.
it's okay.
They're kind of in it. I mean, Draymond's completely sagging off, making him shoot him.
It's
He's
okay.
making,
He's
he's
making
making
them,
some,
though. He
but
was
also
terrible,
he's
Right.
and
He
I
still
can get in your
is.
head.
But in order for him to assert his dominance in the way that we're talking about, he has to do it in the paint. And right now, he's living in the mid range, and that's okay. I mean, it's getting it's not really getting the job done.
No.
So
would
he
you
has to-
rather have Sabonis be the main offense or De'Aaron Fox?
It doesn't mean he has to be the main offense. It just means
They go hand in hand like
that
they've
pick
been
and
all
roll.
season.
The pick and roll was their bread and butter, and the Warriors have locked it up.
Handoff, pick and roll.
Yeah, the
De'Aaron
DHOs
Fox, right?
or the pick. Yeah, I mean,
Warriors are clamping down.
But that's what I'm saying. So would you rather have
I'd rather have Sabonis be.
Sabonis in the paint or have that action?
I'd always rather have my
Out of
big
that action,
dominate
you can also
the
get
paint.
kick out threes.
Right.
True.
Well, the difference too is, I mean, the Kings hit 8 threes in the first quarter, and then they're ice cold for the
2
rest of
of
the game.
20 the rest of the game.
And the guy who's been ice cold, I mean, Kevin Huerter,
Yeah.
40% from 3 this year on 7 attempts a game. He's currently 4 of 25 from 3, 16% three-point percentage.
Good old Harrison Barnes series. Interesting. I want to talk about Kevon Looney real quick, and I will give one quick shout out to the Warriors because I've noticed it with not only him, but Steph Curry is the biggest one I've noticed. The Warriors are the best, I don't know how to say this properly, the best developmental team. And what I mean by that is they know how to develop players. Because Looney got drafted, I don't know exactly,
He was the
2019?
30th, I think he was the 30th pick. No, it was 30th pick of, I think it was 18?
18? Okay, anyways, the year.
Yeah.
My point, what I'm trying to make is the Warriors will draft these guys. They're not good right away, or they're not doing what they need to do right away. Whatever. Looney, I mean, I don't even think played the first couple years, but what the thing is, though, is they develop and go on. Because let's be real honest, Curry wasn't Curry until like 5, almost 6 years later, if you really look at it.
Right.
I mean,
Injuries, but yeah.
yeah, no, I know, and there was flashes. I'm not,
Right.
but what he like really turned out to be, like what he is now, like I don't think anybody would have saw that coming.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. The Warriors just know how to do. I mean, even Draymond was a 2nd-round pick. I mean, look at him. Klay Thompson was a lottery pick, but
11th pick of the draft.
yeah, one of the best shooting guards of all time, probably. I mean, I think he is.
You know
So
what I will say, Blake, and I'm not disagreeing with you because I agree with you completely. But I also want to point out that the Warriors and its culture, the way their players buy in and are just selfless in order for them to be successful as a unit, I feel like it's unparalleled in the NBA right now. Because even as you talk about Looney, You can go watch his film in college, and he was.
Yeah,
he was a boy.
Yeah.
He could dribble and everything.
Yeah, I'm not
Draymond was
disrespecting
okay.
him.
He could really shoot. Draymond was okay and all that, but the way they buy in, they don't even play like how they did a couple years back because they don't have to at all. They just trust themselves so much, and I love that. That's why they're so fun to watch.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like Curry and Looney were bad in college. They weren't, especially Looney. I saw his UCLA highlights. They hold up. I mean, he was splashing threes, and we don't see that. So, anyways, but like, it's just the I mean, it's the best example too is Wiggins. Look at Wiggins.
Yeah.
Wiggins they were saying he was done. Dude was 24. I'm like, these
Right.
guys are ridiculous.
Draft bust. He was considered a bust, and really, it's completely the system that Steph, Clay, and Dre have started, and then that Steve Kerr has helped build around. I mean, every year they switch out role players, and it just works, right? This year it's DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
Last year GP2 is that guy, and still is the guy this year.
And
now.
GP2 was bouncing around from the G League
Right.
a lot. He's 30
he was
years
like
old.
a 28-year-old rookie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And then one other thing, I forgot.
Missing Jordan Poole.
Not really role player guy, but the development for sure. He was considered the worst pick of the first round. Every expert was saying that they reached on Jordan
he got
Poole.
better.
He went down to the G League, got robbed, should have won MIP last year. Instead, it was John Morant.
Yeah.
I'm always going to talk about that. But
That's ridiculous.
For sure.
and then he blew up in the playoffs, and he's had to take a little back seat so far in the playoffs this year.
Definitely.
Still have Kuminga coming up. Moody
I know.
gives good minutes.
Y'all need to let Moody free. Though.
I'm glad Moody's finally playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say either
Kuminga-
let him be free or play him.
Man.
I've been
nice.
upset that Kuminga hasn't been playing, but they've really with Draymond on the bench, the minutes have shortened up, and it's really worked out having Draymond come off the bench
But-
because
See, with the Kuminga thing, like that goes into what I say. He can sit for a couple years, especially Kuminga because he came out so young and raw. I think he came out like 18, 19.
Yeah, he's 20 years old.
Yeah, sit him a couple years. Shoot, guy in 4 or 5 years is going to be dropping like 25 and 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Tuesday, what you said about the buy-in thing, the last thing I was going to say, I agree with you, the Warriors. I got to put the Heat in that conversation, though, too. With all the culture, how they're built and stuff like that. Not the player development part, but just in general, like the buy-in thing, it's definitely Golden State and Miami for
well,
sure.
and you think about it, I mean,
Culture-wise,
Yeah.
And then I throw the Spurs in there. But I
Yeah.
feel like when I talk about Miami,
well,
I mean, back
we might as
then,
well
yeah,
we might as well just talk about the 3 best coaches in basketball, right? With Spoelstra, Greg Popovich,
and
and
Darvin
Steve
Ham.
Kerr.
My bad.
Oh yeah,
Whoa,
Darvin Ham is crazy.
Whoa, man.
The last
my
thing,
bad, my bad.
last thing I want to
Continue,
say is Malik Monk has really showed out. He's been last night. He was kind of taking over for De'Aaron Fox in the fourth quarter. He had 14 points in the fourth quarter. He was aggressive. The amount of times he got to the rim and just bodied off Looney and banked it off the backboard was
I counted
crazy.
2 fouls I didn't call, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's why they lost.
I
All
said
right.
Monk was gonna show up. Check the
I think
film.
we should
I
move
told
on.
you guys, Monk was gonna show up. He's like that.
Steph versus LeBron in the second round. Is that what we're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking.
Steph versus LeBron, the second round.
That's what I'm thinking.
We'll have to see. But yeah.
All right, last question right here. I want to hear some hot takes because last show we did, it was like, I don't know who's going to win. It'll go 7 games. I don't want to hear that. Finals matchups. Who do you guys have? Who's going to the finals?
Philly Lakers. I've been saying it since day one. I've been saying it since August.
And who's winning?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll go with Philly
Yeah, why? Why Philly?
because I want Harden to get one.
I got to think about this for a second. You go ahead.
Well, I already said at the beginning, but Celtics, Warriors.
Who you got
So
winning?
rematch Celtics Warriors.
Warriors repeat? You got them repeating?
Warriors. The Warriors are just so strong.
That's crazy. Okay. So the East, I have Philly coming out. I am switching gears from Boston. I know that was one of my original picks.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
I'm flipping gears. I'm gonna go Philly. The West. Oh.
You might as well just hop on and rock with me, bro. Like,
Lakers
Nah. Yeah.
What you
Lakers is
mean?
Lakers.
Lakers
you
is
got
crazy.
Denver, brother.
is crazy. Lakers is crazy.
You got Denver.
Dude, the Lakers were just sub 500 like a month ago.
All right. Well,
So-
Denver's been the best team in the
Hold on,
West for a
hold on,
while.
hold on. Let me change. Suns, Celtics.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Because we didn't talk about the Suns this whole time. I just thought about them again, but because that trio is just.
Okay. So I was gonna say Denver, but I'm gonna say Suns, Philly. I'll give it to Philly. I want to give it to Philly. I do. I think Embiid's going to get MVP. And if he does, that's going to push, that's going to raise the bar even more.
Wait, time out.
What?
I just realized you changed your complete winner. You had the Warriors winning, and now they're not even making it.
No,
So,
they're gonna be in
Leon?
the Western Finals.
so do you have?
I'm talking about the
No, we're talking
finals.
about
So do you have the
Finals.
Suns or
I
the
got
Warriors
Suns.
winning?
I got the Suns.
Winning it all?
Yeah.
So you have
Alright.
Suns, Warriors, Western Conference Finals, and they
Oh, I understand
Suns,
what's going on.
Celtics.
Yeah,
Okay.
wait. Okay, I got confused too.
Suns, Celtics, Suns win it all. You have
I have Suns, Sixers.
Suns, Sixers, and
I'm going to say Sixers, yeah.
Sixers, and you have Sixers, Lakers,
I'm gonna
Sixers
say
winning.
Sixers.
I'll go with the Sixers.
I got Warriors, Sixers. I've been riding the Sixers train for a
Warriors,
little bit.
Sixers.
I think it'll be Warriors,
Why do
Denver.
you guys think the Sixers
Warriors,
are
Denver in the
gonna
Western
come out
Conference
come out the Eastern?
Dude, the way they're
They
playing
got the
right now,
MVP.
They just swept the Nets. I think they look the best.
The Nets, though.
I
All
know.
We're talking about the Nets.
And
Yeah,
Boston's playing Atlanta, though.
Yeah, Boston's playing in
Atlanta's not all that crazy
But
either.
Atlanta against the Nets. Atlanta's not a bad team. It's just
That's actually a good
playoff.
series,
They're
you really
playoff.
think?
It would be because the Nets are not really a true
Contenders.
6 seed because they
They
KD
got
really helped
carried
them get
halfway
there.
through the season.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But also Atlanta has been pretty disappointing all year. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be Philly and Boston in the second round. If Boston closes it out, that's going to be a really good series.
That would
And
probably be
the winner of that will most likely go to the finals, unless you think the Knicks or Heat could
Absolutely not.
take them down. All right, well, that's it. We got some good hot takes at the end there. We'll see how these all pan out.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for next week on Tuesday. We'll have an NFL recap. Obviously, the draft is tonight. We didn't touch on it because, well, the draft is tonight.
Oh, wait, one more thing, Cam. Shout out Lamar. Lamar Jackson,
Oh, yeah.
highest paid player ever. I'll leave it at that.
Record bag.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, fellas. I'm Cameron Anderson, Zay Randle, Blake Molina, Leon Fong. Thank you all for watching the Tuesday Swoop here on the Solano College Sports Network, and we will catch you next time.